On the surface, Harold Kane was the man everyone trusted. At 52, Harold had spent nearly 3 decades as the branch manager of Maple Hill Savings and Loan, a modest red brick bank that sat at the corner of Main and Church Street in Brookhaven, Vermont. In a town with 1 post office, 1 bar, and 1 stoplight, Harold wasn't just the guy who helped you refinance your tractor loan. He was a staple of the community. He coached Little League. He brought donuts to the firehouse. Every December, he dressed as Santa and handed out candy canes in front of the bank. Which is why, when Harold didn't show up for work on the snowy morning of January 14, 2023, everyone noticed. His car, a tan 2008 Subaru Outback, was found parked at the bank, unlocked. His coat was inside. His phone was on the passenger seat. But Harold was nowhere to be found. At first, it seemed like he might have wandered off and slipped on the ice. But there were no footprints, no blood, no struggle, just a man gone without a trace. Security cameras from the bank showed Harold arriving at 6:42 a.m., which wasn't unusual. He always liked to open early, prepare the registers, and listen to NPR before customers trickled in. But the footage after that was missing. Specifically, the footage from 6:50 to 7:35 a.m. was corrupted. Police originally believed it might be a simple robbery. Maybe someone came in early and caught him off guard. But no money was missing. No drawers opened. No vault breached. So where was Harold? That night, as news spread through Brookhaven, residents gathered at the community center. Candles were lit. Flyers printed. The church bells rang for him the next morning. It had only been a day, but already a sense of dread settled in the snowy air. Everyone was thinking the same thing. This doesn't happen here. The investigation shifted when a detective from the Vermont State Police, Megan Harlow, took over the case. It was her team that uncovered something no one in Brookhaven expected. Harold Kane had a second phone IT, was registered to a burner number. Text messages revealed an ongoing affair with a woman named S. The tone was emotional, sometimes desperate. Messages suggested Harold had planned to leave his wife, Janine, once the timing was right. There were references to weekend trips to upstate New York and a cabin in the woods near Lake Willoughby. Detectives traced the cabin, rented under a fake name, but Harold's fingerprints were found inside, and so were 2 wine glasses still on the table, fresh. The woman, S., turned out to be Sabrina Kellerman, 38, a part-time yoga instructor and newly divorced mother of 2. She lived 2 towns over in East Linden. When questioned, Sabrina didn't deny the affair. "I loved him," she said tearfully. "He told me he was leaving her, that he wanted to retire, sell the house, move out near the lake. We even talked about getting a dog, but she hadn't seen him in over a week. It doesn't make sense," she told investigators. He said he was going to talk to Janine. Janine Kane was the picture of composure when interviewed. She said Harold had been distant lately, that their marriage had gone cold, but she didn't suspect an affair. When told about Sabrina, Janine went quiet. "I guess I should be angry," she said, staring out the window of their colonial-style house. "But mostly I'm just embarrassed. Everyone thought we were perfect." But the police began to doubt her. Janine refused a polygraph. Then a neighbor reported seeing a black truck parked near the bank early the morning Harold disappeared. The truck belonged to Ryan Dorsey, Janine's ex-boyfriend from high school, someone she'd reconnected with recently on Facebook, according to her search history. When police brought Ryan in for questioning, he admitted he'd been seeing Janine on and off, but claimed he hadn't seen Harold in years. However, cell phone triangulation told a different story. Ryan's phone had pinged off a tower less than 300 yards from Maple Hill Savings and Loan at 6:58 a.m. on the day Harold vanished. Confronted with the evidence, Ryan eventually cracked. In a recorded confession, he claimed Janine had told him Harold was emotionally abusive, and that she feared for her safety if he found out about the affair. But it wasn't true. Janine had lied. Ryan admitted to confronting Harold in the bank's rear lot. "Just a warning," he said. But things escalated. "He pushed me. I pushed back. He slipped on the ice, hit his head hard." But instead of calling 911, Ryan panicked. He put Harold's body in his truck and drove 40 miles north into the mountains. Police later found the shallow grave near a frozen riverbed. Harold Kane was dead. A blunt force injury to the back of the head. Confirmed by autopsy. The fall may have started it, but it was a second blow, deliberate and fatal, that ended his life. Ryan didn't say who delivered that blow. Janine was arrested 2 days later for conspiracy to commit murder, based on text messages showing she had urged Ryan to make sure Harold doesn't get in the way. She is currently awaiting trial. Ryan Dorsey accepted a plea deal for second-degree murder and was sentenced to 22 years in prison. The news devastated Brookhaven. Some towns never truly recover from a crime like this. When the man you trusted with your savings turns out to be hiding a double life, and the woman who baked pies for every fundraiser helped orchestrate his death. Harold's funeral was held quietly on a windy morning in February. No speeches, just a small group, his daughter, a few cousins, and the community members who couldn't quite make peace with what had happened. The bank still runs. The sign still bears Harold's name, for now. But the bench where he used to sit in December, dressed as Santa, handing out candy canes with a laugh and a wink, that sits empty. Every year since his death, someone leaves a red Santa hat on that bench. No name, no note, just the hat. And every year, the wind eventually carries it away. If you have a tip about a cold case in Vermont, contact the Vermont State Police Major Crimes Unit at 802-555-0148.